Agape Vlogs. How are you all? I thank all of you for keeping me in your prayers, and also thank God for bringing me back to good health. And once again, I'm going to continue with the previous vlog, and I really wish all of you pass the CBT exams, and whether you like or whether you dislike, it doesn't matter. My prayers and blessings with all of you. Now let's continue with the vlogs.
So let's begin with the 41st question. Which behaviors will encourage a patient to talk about their concerns? Option A, giving reassurance and telling them not to worry. Option B, asking the patient about their family and friends. Option C, tell the patient you are interested in what is concerning them and that you are available to listen. And option 4, tell the patient you are interested in what is concerning them, and if they tell you, they will feel better. So the right option here is option C, that is, tell the patient you are interested in what is concerning them and that you are available to listen. Okay, so this will encourage the patient to talk more liberally to you. And also I encourage you people to mark your scores down so that towards the end you can find where you stand as usual. Okay, now let's go on to the next question. Question number 42. When communicating with someone who isn't a native English speaker, which of the following is advisable? Using an official translator, ask the doctor, relying on their family or friends, and ask the receptionist. These are the 4 options, and whenever you're communicating with someone who isn't a native English speaker, you have to remember to use an official translator. So the right option is option A, using an official translator. Okay. I'm also very grateful to all of you who have subscribed and who have listened to my vlogs, who have shared my vlogs, and I know 70% of you who have listened to the vlogs have not subscribed, and that is also a very disappointing thing, and this is also very demotivating. So I wish all of you who listen here, you're taking the training free of cost, but don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. Okay, now let's go on to the question. Question number 43. Dehydration is of particular concern in ill health. If a patient is receiving IV fluid replacement and is having their fluid balance recorded, which of the following statements is true of someone said to be in a positive fluid balance? Options are: option A, the fluid output has exceeded the input. Option B, the doctor may consider increasing the IV drip rate. And option C, the fluid balance chart can be stopped as positive in this instance means good. And option D, the fluid input has exceeded the output. So which is the right option? Have you ticked the right option? Okay, the right option is option 4, that is the fluid input has exceeded the output. Okay. Before going to the 44th question, I wish all of you who are going to appear for your CBT exams very best of luck. Many of you have commented that you are taking your exams very soon and you need my vlogs, so that is what triggered me to come back again. It's almost since a year now, and I wish all of you pass your CBT exams and you will come back with your success stories once again. Okay, now the 44th question. What is the best way to prevent a patient who is receiving an enteral feed from aspirating? Options are: option A, lie them flat. Option B, sit them at least at a 45-degree angle. Option C, tell them to lie on their side. Option 4, check their oxygen saturation. So the right option is sit them at least at a 45-degree angle. So please remember that these questions are very important. Next, 45th question. Please listen to it very carefully so that you get it right. Which check do you need to carry out every time before setting up a routine enteral feed via a nasogastric tube? Options are: option A, that when flushed with the red juice can be seen when the tube is aspirated. Option B, that air cannot be heard rushing into the lungs by doing the whoosh test. Option C, that the pH of gastric aspirate is less than 4 and the measurement of the nasogastric tube is the same length as the time insertion, and option D, abdominal x-ray. So you have got 4 different type of options, and I think you are not confused. You have got it right. The right option is option C, that is the pH of gastric aspirate is less than 4 and the measurement on the NG tube is the same length as the time insertion. Okay, I think all of you have got it right. Okay, these are question number 46. What should be included in your initial assessment of your patient's respiratory status? Options are option A, review the patient's notes and charts to obtain the patient's history. Option B, review the results of routine investigations. Option C, observe the patient's breathing for ease and comfort, rate and pattern. And option D, check for any drains. The question is, what should be included in your initial assessment of your patient's respiratory status? So the answer is going to be option C, that is observe the patient's breathing for ease and comfort, rate and pattern. Next, we are going towards the 47th question. What should be included in a prescription for oxygen therapy? Options are option A, you don't need a prescription for oxygen unless in an emergency. Option B, the date it should commence, the doctor's signature and bleep number. Option C, the type of oxygen delivery system, inspired oxygen percentage. And option D, you only need a prescription if the patient is going to have home oxygen. So the right option is option C, that is the type of oxygen delivery system and the inspired oxygen percentage. I hope you all have got it right. So now let's move on to the 48th question. And if you had liked my vlog this far and if it has been useful for you, please don't forget to give me a like now itself. And now let's continue with the question. What action would you take if a specimen had a biohazard sticker on it? Options are option A, double bag it in a self-sealing bag and wear gloves if handling the specimen. Option B, wear gloves if handling the specimen, ring ahead and tell the laboratory the sample is on its way. And option C, wear goggles and underfill the sample bottle. And option D is wear appropriate PPE and overfill the bottle. So PPE is very common nowadays, and the right answer here is option A. Hope all of you have got it right. Just give me your answers in the comment box if you have got it right. So try to get it registered. That is, if the specimen had a biohazard sticker on it, you always have to double bag it and in a self-sealing bag and wear gloves if handling the specimen. That is the right option. So let's move on to question number 49. That is, which of the following would indicate an infection? Options are option A, hot, sweaty at temperature of 36.5 degrees Celsius and bradycardiac. Option B, temperature of 38.5 degrees Celsius, shivering, tachycardia and hypertensive. Option C, raised WBC, elevated blood glucose and temperature of 36.0 degrees Celsius. And option D, hypotensive, cold and clammy and bradycardiac. So which answer did you tick right? The option is option B, that is temperature of 38.5 degrees Celsius, shivering, tachycardia and hypertensive. So the question was, which of the following would indicate an infection? So the right answer is option B. Now let's move on to the last question of the session. That is, which of the following techniques is advisable when obtaining a urine specimen in order to minimize the contamination of a specimen? The options are clean around the urethral meatus prior to sample collection and get a midstream or clean catch urine specimen. Option B is clean around the urethral meatus prior to sample collection and collect the first portion of urine, as this is where the most bacteria will be. Option C is do not clean the urethral meatus, as we want these bacteria to analyze as well. And option D is dip the urinalysis strip into the urine in a bedpan mixed with stool. So what is the right option? The options are quite confusing, misleading. Yes, the right answer is option A, that is clean around the urethral meatus prior to sample collection and get a midstream or clean catch urine specimen. I think we have discussed this earlier. Okay, so that is it. We have finished this session. Now we'll very soon move on to the next part, that is the test 6. So keep waiting. I'll catch you back soon. So best of luck for your exams. All of you stay safe. Thank you all for watching Agape Vlogs. Bye bye.